Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tayo here and I'm finally back with another video. I've been doing so many vlogs and I'm like, okay, it's time to sit down and do what I used to do on YouTube, which is talk to the camera. So I'm back, yeah. And I'm excited to share our story. I like to share different stories just to be an encouragement to people. I know that's what God has asked me to do, especially on this channel. And so I just wanted to sit down and do like a quick chat about how Genesis was healed from eczema. And it sounds like crazy, like it's eczema, like most people have eczema. But once you hear her story and like how severe it was, then you'll understand why it's a miracle. But yeah, if you just want to hear our story and feel encouraged today, keep watching. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share it out. If anybody else that you know is struggling with eczema or their child is struggling with eczema, please share this video with them. I know it will be an encouragement for sure. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. I took some notes because this is it's been a long road for sure. And so I didn't want to miss anything or miss any products we use or anything like that. And I will talk about products, but this mainly is about how God is our healer and not products. We'll get into that later. But yeah, I did take notes because I definitely want to share what we did use and what worked for us and also what didn't work. And that doesn't really matter because every product works differently on different people. So we'll get into all that in a little bit. But yeah, let's start out with her birth. If you haven't watched it already, I did a video about her birth a while ago. So if you want to check that out and just how God was a miracle in the delivery room. And so knowing how her birth went, I should have probably known that this child was going to test us. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been a journey for sure. I'll just start from the beginning. So when Genesis was a baby, let's say she was like 3 months old, she had like baby acne, which a lot of babies have, which are like bumps on their face or on their body. And so we were kind of like, oh, she was our first child. So we were kind of like, what's going on? Like, what is this? And we just did some Googling, talked to her pediatrician, and she just said, oh, she just has baby acne. Just put Aquaphor on her. I was using another brand called Tubby Todd, and I was using that on her and it was helping a little bit. So I was like, okay, she's fine. She's going to grow out of it. It's nothing serious, right? And okay, before I say that also, I'm going to link all the products we used, those things that worked, those things that didn't work, just so if you're struggling and you don't know what else to do, you can give it a try. So anyway, let's get back into it. So I stopped breastfeeding around like 3 or 4 months when we tried formula. And we gave her formula, and that night she went to sleep. First, she threw it up before she went to sleep, which I was like, okay, maybe she needs something sensitive, like we'll try something else. And then later into the night, she was crying. We pick her up and her eye blew up. And we were like, whoa. So I was aware of like a cow milk allergy because my sister's son had a cow milk allergy. And I was like, okay, she probably has like a milk allergy. She can't have like, of course, formula. I was like, okay, that's fine. They have hypoallergenic formula, yada, yada, yada. Took her to the doctor, let them know. They were like, okay, we probably need to test her as she gets older for any other allergies just in case. And we were like, okay, sure, whatever. We gave her hypoallergenic milk and she was fine. Let's say she was like 4 or 5 months. I remember we went to Jamaica and her lymph nodes were swollen. And I was like, I didn't even know what that was. They're like little bumps. I'll insert pictures of what it looks like. But basically your lymph nodes are like, it's basically your body trying to get rid of infection, right? So she had like little swelling on the back of her neck and we were like, what is that? But we kind of brushed it off. And after we got back from Jamaica and like a few months into that, she started getting really bad rashes. And I remember one time she just had a huge like flare up where her skin was red. We were like, what is going on here? Backstory, Ishmael had eczema as a child and it was pretty severe, but his mom used like the steroids that the doctors prescribed, but he kind of outgrew it as well. So we weren't really stressed in the beginning because we're like, oh, she's gonna outgrow it, like it's not gonna be that bad. But she did have her like first huge flare up and we're like, okay, this is getting kind of weird, like let's see what's going on. Went to the doctor, they prescribed her a steroid, and steroids are basically like medicated creams. And with the medicated creams, what they do is they calm the flare up, and you can only use it for 2 weeks or less. And once it calms the flare up, your body kind of goes into this like process of like trying to expel everything that was causing the flare up. I don't know how to describe it. it kind of like breaks down the barrier of your skin at the same time, which is not a good thing, but it's trying to get rid of, you know, the things that are causing the flare up. So we put the creams on her. It would work a little bit and then it would stop working. And then you can only be on it for 2 weeks because you can't be, it's heavy, it's medicated, you know, cream. So you can't be on it for a long time. And so she would be on the steroids and then she'll get off of it. And we're like, okay, this is not helping. So fast forward a few months, she's now like 7, 8 months. We go to the UK to visit my sister and her family, and she is using the steroid, Vaseline, just things here and there, but nothing's working consistently. And so we started using a cream, which I'm gonna put on the screen maybe, and then I'll definitely link it. It's a cream called E45, and it's just like, I used it growing up because I had very dry skin, and so my parents always used that on me. So we started using that on Genesis along with Aquaphor, which her doctor told us to use, and sometimes we use a steroid. The steroid wasn't working, so I was not trying to use it all the time, and I started going on TikTok and seeing how steroids break down your body over time and how it really doesn't help you because it's really not healing. So anyway, we went to the UK. I bought E45. I think I bought it even before we went to the UK because I was like, oh, this is something. I bought it from Amazon, which I'll link, and it was helping her kind of, but it was still not, you know, healing her. And you know, when you're early in the journey of dealing with eczema, especially with your child, you're just trying to fix it. And so like, I was just trying to figure out what is going on with my child and how can I help her. And so we were trying everything. We tried the E45, we tried the Aquaphor, and everything would work here and there, but she would still go through a calm, like almost like remission, and then she'll go and have another flare up. So we get back from the UK, we tried some products there. We mainly focused on using E45 because it was kind of working, and the steroid. And we came back here and her eczema got so bad. And I'll insert pictures of what so bad means. Bad. So we went back to her doctor, and we even went to the dermatologist, and we're like, okay, what can we do? Of course, what do? They prescribe you steroids. They're like, just use the steroid cream. It should work. Use it all day, every day. You know, every diaper change, you use it. Or is it steroid or Aquaphor? They're always like, just slather lotion on them all day, basically. And I'm like, okay, we've been doing that, but it's not working. But of course, they're just telling you what they think they know. So I'm up late doing research, trying to figure out what to use. I'm buying all these different products. Nothing's really working. Fast forward, she's almost a year old now, and we're still doing the steroids on and off. We started incorporating another cream called Vanny cream. There is like a lotion form and there's like an ointment form, and we started using the ointment form, and that was actually kind of helping her even more. And so we would layer that on her alongside whatever random cream we were using at that time. I know with Vanny cream, we mainly focused on that, and we also focused on doing oatmeal baths, which is something that you can get. Aveeno has little like packets. You pour it in warm water, you let them sit in an oatmeal bath, and it's meant to calm the eczema. Because I didn't even share, like with Jenny's eczema, as she's almost a year now. So with her eczema, not only was she dealing with flare-ups, now as she got closer to a year old, she was dealing with non-stop scratching. So I'll talk about some of her symptoms too, like what it looked like for her. Before she turned 1, her main symptom was scratching and skin shedding. So literally her skin was falling off. At night, you would go into her crib and you would see just black dots, speckles of skin just all over her crib. We would literally have to brush out her crib, vacuum all the skin up, like wipe down her changing table, because when you took off her clothes, her skin was literally just falling off. And it sounds crazy, but it's just I know people with kids with eczema or people with severe eczema know what I'm talking about, where your skin is just coming off. And it's like, what is going on? But as parents, you're going through, like Ishmael and we're just going through battle mode. Like, how are we going to fix this for our child? How are we going to get through it? Because in the first, you're kind of in denial about how serious it is, and like, our parents are trying to help us. They're crying. They're like, what is going on? Like, this is so bad. She's suffering. And we're like, yes, but we're going to fix it. Like, we were just in fix it mode. And like, Ishmael's looking up stuff. I'm looking up stuff. We're just trying to figure it out. So she's almost 1 now. Her skin is constantly shedding. She has patches of dry skin. Like, you can literally peel off her skin. It's wrinkling. Her skin wrinkled a lot. It was summertime because she turns 1 in August. So you can tell like her skin is like swollen, and like she would scratch at her hands and it would bleed. Let me just tell you, it was a lot. So right before she turned 1, she also developed these like bumps, and we were like, okay, what is this? And it was just random bumps, and I'll try and insert pictures of what it looked like. We went to the dermatologist now because we're like, okay, this is getting to be too much. Went to the dermatologist, and they're like, This is called, what is it called? Water bumps? Oh, molluscum contagiosum, whatever the heck that is. Anyway, there are these little bumps that kind of bleed and like they don't really pop. I don't even remember. But basically, we found out that she developed this through like pool water, or she's near a kid who's had this these bumps or rash, and later on I figured out it was a pull from my research. Maybe a kid had it, but because what happens is when you have eczema, your skin barrier is so weak. So any infection can just come through so easily. Whereas people that don't have eczema, your skin tends to fight off bacteria and fight off infection. But with kids with eczema, her body was just letting in every infection. We went to the dermatologist. They're telling us, oh, she might have these bumps until she's 2. I said, who? Not my child. We started praying. And honestly, that was the first miracle. That disappeared like after 2 weeks. All the bumps were gone. Just 2 weeks and it was gone. And I said, that was the first miracle. And when you're going through a battle, sometimes you don't even know small miracles are happening until later. And so I look back, I'm like, wow, that was the first miracle God did. Because let's just talk about what we were doing. We were doing oatmeal baths. We were doing Dettol baths, which is meant to clean your body of any infections, of any things that like can kind of go into your skin. So we're doing that. Nothing was working. We're trying to figure out what to do with our child. It's already tough enough. She's our first child. We don't know what we're doing, but we're trying. And so it was a battle. It was a battle. So now that she's 1, she was getting a little bit older. Now her skin started darkening. So think about patchiness on her skin, rashes, random flare-ups, black skin, swollen hands, extreme itching to the point that she, like even throughout the summer, all she would wear is long sleeve, long pants, and long socks. We would put, and then an undershirt, like a onesie, so we can snap it so she can't lift up her shirt to scratch. So the child is overheating. She's itchy. When I tell you she suffered, her lymph nodes were swollen all the time. Back of her neck and in her groin. Constantly. And to the point that she started, after she turned 1, she started getting constant ear infections. Constant ear infections. To the point that she got to 2 years old. When she 2, when we got her tubes, she had to have the surgery to get tubes in her ears because she just kept getting ear infections and she couldn't get rid of them. Not only did it affect her skin, it affected her hair. So she had the normal, like, you know, when kids, their hair, the back of their hair, like, falls out when they're younger. She had that, but it grew back in. But when she turned like 1.5, the eczema had moved to her scalp. So I don't know if you guys have seen, like, when people like show their scalp flaking and how they like comb out the flakes. That's basically called seborrheic dermatitis. So there's atopic dermatitis, which is eczema on your skin, and there's seborrheic dermatitis, which is eczema on your scalp. So she didn't have the eczema on her scalp on the top of her head, but she had it severely on the back. But her scalp was so dry. And so not only am I dealing with her skin, dealing with the eczema on her skin, I'm dealing with her scalp. So I'm looking for different products to use on her scalp, and it's getting better to this day, but that's one thing we really haven't overcome as much. She doesn't have the eczema on her scalp, but because she was scratching so much, her hair literally just fell out again. And fell out to the point that when you're scratching, you're damaging your scalp. And so she's just constantly scratching the back of her hair because it's so itchy. And, you know, the doctors tell you to lather their skin up, put all the creams in her hair. It's going to help. And what it really does is, like, when your skin barrier is so broken, layering things on top really doesn't help. It doesn't give it room to breathe. And with eczema, your skin really needs to breathe. And as much as you want to put products on your skin, put it on your scalp, it really wasn't helping. And so her hair fell out. Her skin wasn't breathing. So infections are still getting in. And it got so bad. And I thank God for Ishmael because he was so supportive through it all. Like, I didn't do it alone. Our family really tried. They supported my sister, my cousin. They supported me. They were never trying to push, oh, do this, do that. Like, they just listened. And when I was upset and when I was like, what do I do? Like, they listened to me, and I'm just thank God for them. It literally came down to it, prayer and trying different things, because, you know, when so many people are in your ear about what to do with your child, you second guess. And with eczema, you have to be so consistent, because you can use a lotion today. That doesn't mean it's gonna work today. You know, sometimes it can be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but you have to be so consistent. And it's hard when you have a lot of people in your ear about what to do and what you should be doing to stay consistent with something. So that was something we were battling a lot as well. So yeah, I would be up all night searching, looking at, listening to videos, watching videos, looking at what people did. And it's like, only God can tell you, only God can heal truly. And of course, God can direct you to the right products, but it's literally prayer that got us to be where we are today. And I think so we're in the UK. Genesis is going through the worst flare up of her life. When we got back, Ishmael, so he was like, okay, what can we do to stop her from scratching? Because not only was it affecting her body, she wasn't sleeping because she was constantly scratching. And so he Googled it and he was like, oh, let's just get a scratch vest. And he went on Amazon and literally got this. It's called Scratch Sleeves. And it's literally just a little vest you put over their arms, their pajamas. So like when she's scratching, she's not able to scratch her skin. She's not able to pull out her hair. It was really, really, really helpful. Literally, this thing is a miracle. We put the vest on and literally changed her sleep. So I thank God that like Holy Spirit talked to Ishmael and was like, get her something to wear at night. And so I'm going to link this below as well, but you can get this on Amazon and it's very affordable. And it's called a scratch sleeving. And so I remember in July, my parents were here. It was summer and she had the worst flare up of her life, to the point that Genesis was miserable and she had never been like that. And I almost broke down because I'm like, we had been suffering with this for almost 2 years at this point. And I was like, we can't go on like this. And so I just remember going to sleep and just crying like, God, I can't do it anymore. You have to heal her. You have to make a way. Like, it's only you that can heal. And when you do heal her, it's not going to be any product we use. And that's what I told God. That was my deal. It's like, you know, people always say, use this product, do this. Like, I knew that it was not going to be a product that healed her. It was going to be God. And so I went to sleep and she didn't get healed overnight, but we were still working through it. And so I remember starting to look up like holistic methods because I was tired of using the steroids and I was tired of people telling me do what the doctor said because it wasn't working. And I'm like, okay, I know that eczema is not a physical thing, it's an internal thing. And we have to figure out what's going on with her internally first. And because of all her allergies, because of the eczema, her body is reacting to something internal. We have to figure that out first. So I started doing a lot of research and I found a holistic practice. What is it called? It's like a holistic doctor with childhood eczema. So I was like, okay, we got to do some more digging. And I wasn't sure what kind of therapy she needed, what kind of thing they were going to do. But I was like, okay, at least they do something. I'll link the place we went to, and basically we took her there. They looked at her, they saw, like, they could physically see that she was in distress. They literally told me that, and I literally started crying. They're Korean, so they do a lot of, like, they can look at you and like tell all these things. It's amazing going in there. It's such a peaceful place. But I had to pause to quickly mention, I forgot to say that it was just a God thing that we went to that practice, to that holistic healing place, because they actually were Christian based. Before each session, they actually pray with you. They invite the Holy Spirit. They pray for your healing. And it was literally, and they ask permission before they pray with you. But it was literally just such an amazing experience. It's so calm in there. The people are so kind. And so I'm so glad that God sent us to that place and to those people. And so, but I knew something was going to change. I knew getting that magnet therapy was also going to help because we're now focusing on what's going on internally. People that own the practice, their children had been through severe. They had 2 twins that had been through severe, showing me pictures, severe eczema. And so they understood. And it was almost just like a breath of fresh air to hear people understand that this has to be fixed internally. And it really helped. So they were like, we're going to do magnet therapy. And the more you can do it, the better. But, we lived an hour away, so it was hard. So we tried going once a week. So we would go every Saturday. The doctor didn't speak any English, so they would have their other doctors come in and basically translate. And he would just find different pressure points or different points on her neck, her feet, her arms, and they would tape little magnets. So basically the magnets were pulling out toxins out of her body. And we started doing that once a week, and I know that's when her healing started happening, around that time. So I can't pinpoint and say, yes, you need magnet therapy, because like I said, I told God he's going to do it. It's not going to be anything we do. It's going to be him. But I know magnet therapy is definitely helpful with eczema. I wish we could have done it more, but driving an hour with work, Jenny was starting preschool soon. It was going to be a lot. So we were going once a week. and it was making a difference. It's slow, and you need to keep the magnets on for 2 hours. So they would tape it on her and she would keep it on for 2 hours, but it's a slow progress with the magnet therapy. At the same time, my dad had gone to Nigeria around that time, and he brought back this black soap. We never used black soap because it was a bit too harsh for her skin, but he brought back, and I have it here, he brought back black soap but in paste form. And we didn't get a big one like this in the beginning. He brought a small little one for us to try. But basically, he went to a family member in Nigeria, and they had this like natural skincare shop, and the lady basically mixed black soap but into a paste form, and she puts other things in here. I don't know what it is. My dad just brought it back. And around the time we started doing the magnet therapy, we started using this black soap, and slowly but surely her skin started to change. You can't really find the paste in stores. You generally see the bar soaps or like the blocks, but I'm gonna try and see if I can find the black soap paste form. There might be a website that sells it. I'll see if I can find it. Ishmael had a flare-up on, he always gets eczema in the summer on his elbows and inside here and on his arms a little bit. And so whenever he gets a flare-up, he just goes to Costco and he gets a hydrocortisone. So around that time, Ishmael was using hydrocortisone because he was itchy. I'm like, why don't we just use this on Genesis? She's always itchy. We started using the hydrocortisone. Specifically, he said he never used any other brand but the Costco brand ever since he was little because it's the only one that really worked. And we started using it. They come 4 in a box. You buy them from Costco, super cheap. And yeah, it comes like 4 little tubes, $7 or $8. And we started using this, and her skin was changing. So with the magnet therapy, the hydrocortisone, where in the bath, she uses a black soap and we just lather it on her body. Her body started to change slowly. And when you're going through a miracle, sometimes it's not overnight. Like, you just see it slowly. And when you've been going through it for so long, sometimes you don't even notice that the miracle is happening. And so we were using the black soap, we were using hydrocortisone. We went back to literally basic. Like, we just started using Vaseline. And we'd already used Vaseline in the past. We were like, you know what? On top of the hydrocortisone, we'll put Vaseline on top of that. We started doing that. And then Ishmael's mom's friend went to Nigeria too, and she was like, oh, let me bring back some Shea Butter for Genesis because they love her, and they were like, let's see if this could help. So she went to Nigeria, and this is not the exact one she brought back, but she brought back Shea Butter, but it's like a smooth form, like lotion form, not the hard one that you can get in stores. So this is, I wonder if you can order from this. This is my friend's mom, actually. Yeah, you can. Maybe I'll show you the brand. My friend's mom just went to Nigeria, and so she brought this back for us. The brand is called Kera Organic, and they actually have, they have an email. I'll put this in the description box in case you want to try and order the Shea Butter. So you see how it just easily goes into the skin. So we were starting to use Shea Butter, Vaseline, hydrocortisone, and like I said before, we didn't want to layer her skin, but as she was getting better, we in the morning and night, we weren't doing it constantly, we were doing morning and night. She would get 3 layers, hydrocortisone, Vaseline, and Shea Butter. Sometimes it just depends. And Genesis literally was getting better, slowly, and we didn't even realize it at first. Lord. With all that being said, those are the things we're using now, and it wasn't an overnight thing. It was still a slow and gradual process, but I remember the day it changed. It was my mom's birthday, and I went to the spa with my mom, and Ishmael took the kids to a cookout. And usually when she goes out in the summer, she's in long sleeve and long pants. It's hard, but she would always scratch her little ankles and her arms and her hands, so we really wanted to cover them up. And that time I was like, you know what, she's slowly getting better, just put her in a dress. And Ishmael put her in the dress. They went to the cookout, and this is the first day, and I'll insert a picture of her at the cookout. Her skin was so black, but it was the first day that her skin was calm. He said she ran around, she had the best time, and she did not stop to scratch her skin one time. And I remember and it made me think of the night that I just stopped and I cried out to God, and I said, God, only you can heal my child. Only you can do it. And I know it's going to be a testimony. The same way with her birth. I was crying out on the labor bed, God, only you can breathe life into her. Let her breathe, God. Only you. Let this be a miracle. Let this be a testimony. And the same crying out that I did when I was giving birth. It's the same crying out I did that night, and I know God hears us. And so even with all these products I just shown and I've linked below, like, you can use those and they could work for you, or you can use this and they might not work. But the only thing that I know works 1000% is prayer. I know that when you cry out to God and you give it to him and you let him know that it's him that's doing it, not the things that you're doing, God 100% hears us. And so I want this to be an encouragement to you to lean on God. Don't try and do it in your own strength, because in the beginning we were fighting for our daughter and trying to figure it out, but we did not lean on God as much as we should. We were praying for her healing, but were we really praying for God to be the one to heal her, or just for her to be healed? I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly. But yeah, there's a difference in your prayer when you're fed up and you need God to move. And so that night I knew was like the breaking point, and God literally healed Genesis. And it's almost overnight. It's not overnight. It was a gradual process, but it's almost overnight. If you've cried out to God and you're at your wit's end and you're still waiting, do not give up, because there's still, we're still praying for healing for her, because of course it's something that she still deals with dry skin, but it's never close to what she's dealt with in the past. We're still praying for healing in different ways. I know God is going to do it. And so if you are still in your waiting period, keep praying, keep believing, keep trusting, because God can do it. If he can do it for us, he can do it for you. And all those moms and even dads out there that are struggling, they're waiting on God, they're praying, support one another, believe in each other, because a lot of times people are going to advise you and tell you what to do. Trust your gut, trust yourself, because you know your kid the best, and people can support. We didn't do this by ourselves. Like, our parents were praying, our parents were supporting us, but you ultimately know best. So trust your gut when it comes to your child. And yeah, this was long. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was an encouragement to you. I'm going to link everything that I can find below. Some of the products we use from Nigeria, it's not the same thing we use, but I'm going to try and do my best to link what I do know and what I do have. If you have any questions, please leave a question below. If you just wanted to know something, or if I said something and you want more details, I can make another video if there's something you guys want to see. But I hope this was an encouragement to you, and I pray that your child or your family member that's dealing with this severe eczema is healed in the name of Jesus. I pray that over them, and I know that God is going to move and God is going to do it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you again so much for watching. Please share this with someone that you know that needs encouragement, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.